Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining. We are the product success team. I am Lex.
And I'm Rodney.
Today, we are going over the Q charge feature for Aldelo Express. If you have any questions, please keep your questions related to the topic at hand. Please keep yourself muted during the presentation. However, if you do have immediate questions, you can ask your questions in the chat. We will be monitoring the chat as always. Otherwise, you can ask your questions verbally when we open up the floor for questioning. Just make sure you unmute yourself at that time. Q charging is a feature in Aldelo Express. The Q charge feature allows for adjustments after they have been post authorized and even settled. These adjustments include tips and refunds if the banks are closed. They're also available for credit cards and gift card transactions. Any unprocessed gratuities, you can run Q tip. For example, you have an employee that's using staff bank, and one of those employees had an emergency and had to leave early for today. In order to process the end of day, you will need to close out of that person's staff bank. The next day, the employee says he or she forgot to adjust their tips. With Q charge, you are able to adjust the tips after the batch has already closed. While refunds are rare for restaurant industry, Q charge is available. For instance, with Mesa Plus online orders, the orders are closed after the order has been confirmed through Aldelo Express and is processed. If you have a customer that processed a transaction through Mesa Online, but ordered the wrong item, you will not have an option to void out the transaction. You can, however, perform a Q refund. Credit cards do not need to be present to perform a Q tip or Q refund. Credit cards are eligible to process Q transactions. You can perform Q charges in Aldelo Express application or in Merchant Portal. Select processors. While we do support this for Aldelo Pay, it works with other processors. However, the setup needs to be completed by the other processors. You must also have the following to process the Q charge transactions. Example is you'll need the last 4 digits on the credit card. You'll need to include the original auth code, and the amount needs to be adjusted. Also, tokenization is required. These transactions are eligible for adjustments for up to 30 days. Typically, how long the transaction codes are valid. Once you have passed the 30 days, you'll need to go to aldelo.com/tips and complete the form. The credit card numbers will have to be entered manually. In the end of the procedure, in order to complete the process, you will need to verify and advance the transactions by tapping the Process Q Charge button. This will effectively move the transaction into the batch pending settlements. For Aldelo Pay customers, if the charges is not available, you will need to call into support.
Okay, so what you see now is Aldelo Express running on my iPad here. We've already run several transactions and closed out the cashier for that. And the batch has been closed. So what we're going to do is go back and make edits to those transactions. So we're going to go ahead and get logged in. What we're going to do is go into the search options. We're going to swipe up on the green menu on the left-hand side and run a search. And we're going to change the search type to card because you have to enter the last 4 digits of the card. So as Lex mentioned earlier, we do need the last 4 digits of the card, the approval code, and the amount they wish to adjust the tip or the gratuity. So we're going to go ahead and run a search on the card. And in this case, all the transactions are going to be under the same card. We're going to make an adjustment here, and we're going to choose this order 950-47. And when we tap on the order, you're going to see the 2 buttons at the bottom, Q External Refund and Q External Tip. In this case, we're going to run a tip. So we're going to tap on Q External Tip here, and the transaction total As you can see here, it says amount cannot exceed transaction original amount. So I'm going to go ahead and add my tip amount here. So we're adding 5 cents, hit the check. Then we're going to go ahead and confirm the tip amount here. And we're going to go ahead and enter the tip amount here. So you do have to have this information. All right, so we're going to go and process tip now. And it does show you that you do have to push this through, and we'll go through that later on in the presentation. That has been adjusted. So that is the Q external tip. We are going to go ahead and run a refund now. So I'm going to choose this one here with the $1.10. So that's 950-48, but it's the tender for $1.10. Then we'll go ahead and tap on Q external refund. We're going to go ahead and refund the full amount here. And it cannot exceed that. We'll go ahead and put the full amount here. It's going to ask for the original authorization code. Go ahead and enter that. All right, we'll process that. All right, so we have made the adjustments to the transaction on the application. I'm now going to go ahead and move over to the cloud and show you how to process the Q charges from the cloud. So I'm going to go and make the switch here. All right, so we are in the Express office on the cloud here. I'm going to go ahead and click on the merchant portal here, because it does have to be done from the merchant portal. You want to go to merchant accounts and then view the credit card account type. All right, and then we're going to go into the transactions. And if you did have to filter to a different date, you would change the dates here. If you had a specific POS invoice, you can enter that in manually to narrow down the search. But we'll go ahead and view them here. So what I am looking for is the amount of $1.06 here, which is this order here is 95048. I'm going to go ahead and add a 4-cent tip here. So I'm going to click on Q tip. Then it's going to ask for the last 4, which I have. And in this case, you do have to enter the invoice number. Yep. And I'll go ahead and queue for processing. And it does send a reminder here as well. You do have to push it through. And next, I will issue a refund on an order. I'm going to look for the $8 transaction. And we'll do a Q refund. And enter the information. Now in testing, we did use the same invoice number, but in most cases they will be different, obviously. And we will put the refund the full amount here and click on Key for processing. And once again, you'll get that alert. So all the information that we are adjusting today has been submitted. So we're going to go back to the application. Okay, so now we're going to go into the end of day. We're going to tap on the miscellaneous button, the 3 dots, and go into end of day. And just bypass any messages here. All right. So you'll see on the upper right here, process queue charges is blinking because there are pending transactions here. And we are going to view the information that has been pushed through. So this is what will be put into the into the batch here. If there was a mistake made, you can swipe right to left on any of the transactions if they wish to be abandoned. But if we are okay with all the information in here, you can tap on process transactions now at the bottom. And it will push those transactions through and put it into the batch. All right, and then tap on complete when done. Now you'll see that there is a device pending settlement here. We're going to go ahead and close the batch. All right. So that does complete the presentation. Do you guys have any questions?